Well, the government spent close to $100 billion on SNAP benefits last year. Federal food stamp spending has more than doubled over the past 5 years. Joining me now is House Appropriations Committee member Riley Moore. Congressman, tens of millions of people could go hungry because of the shutdown, right?
They could, David. And look, what's going on here right now, what the Democrats are doing, they are demonstrating that there is no limit to the amount of pain and suffering in which they're willing to inflict on the most vulnerable Americans in this country for their own political purposes. And it's really sad. And it's actually quite sadistic what they're doing right now. It's all seems to be timed up with this election that's coming up in Virginia, in New Jersey. Obviously, you just talked about the referendum there in California, but it's really sick what they're doing right now. The American people, I think, have had enough. Look, we have a lot of food stamp recipients here in West Virginia, 1 in 6, but that 1 in 6, 40% are children, David.
But Congressman, they are more and more, the truth is coming out of their responsibility for the shutdown. I mean, they tried to paint it as a Republican, a Trump shutdown. It looks a lot more like a Schumer shutdown now. And you have the unions coming out now against them for opening up. You have the airlines focusing on Democrats intransigent, saying they have to vote for a CR so we can get out of this guy. It does seem like the walls are beginning to close in on them, no?
Oh, absolutely. The walls are starting to close in on them. And just as you rightfully pointed out, we just had the president of the Teamsters Union in front of the White House yesterday saying, pass the CR. We've had the head of the Federal Workers Union say the same thing, the airlines. Everybody is saying this. And there is no safe ground for them at this point. Even when they go over to, fake news channels like CNN, they're getting pressed over there as well. Right. Everybody knows what they're doing right now is completely ridiculous and just a political game that's going to end up hurting millions of Americans.
Well, and they've said it themselves. I mean, we put together montages before of how many of them have come out and said it's a leverage we're using, a political leverage. It's become a tool to gain politically in the polls, but it is not gaining them in the polls. More and more people are seeing that it is a Democrat shutdown, and these are neutral observers, sometimes even Democrat ones, like the Government Workers Union, which is heavily Democratic. I just want to talk, though, because we have a holiday coming up in a couple of weeks. We got Thanksgiving. It's a very busy travel time. I've made the mistake of trying to travel during Thanksgiving myself and gave that up because it's so tough to travel. But if we have more traffic controllers unable to go to work because they can't afford it, a horrible travel time is going to become even more horrendous with the shutdown in place. Could it happen? Could the shutdown still be in place in Thanksgiving?
I don't see it going that long, David. I don't. But you are right. Look, the air traffic controllers just missed a paycheck. We already had a shortage in air traffic controllers as it is right now. And travel in this country certainly could grind to a halt until we're able to get the government funded again. Yeah. But I don't see it going till Thanksgiving. You've started to see some cracks in the walls here and there. And even within their own party, I mean, I hate to say it, but really, put John Fetterman in charge over there. Let him be the minority leader. And I'm not even joking. He's somebody that actually goes back to his district, his state, and talks to people and seems to understand what this is going to do to them. Most of these other senators, these Democrats, they all live in D.C. They don't even go home.
They've lived in D.C. They've been there too long. And just as an example, by the way, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi thinks the government shutdown could help the Democrats in upcoming elections. Let me just play a soundbite from her. Roll it.
Yes, I do indeed, because in fact, the Affordable Care Act is one of the things that is at stake in this election. The Republicans know that they were on the losing side of things. That's why they asked Texas to give them more seats for the House of Representatives. A big victory, not just a victory, a big victory on Tuesday, because people understand how this affects them.
She's cheering on the shutdown, thinking that it's just a political victory. But a lot of people think she's wrong, that this thing is closing in on them and that they're going to take responsibility for it.
Well, this is the same lesson they just learned in the 2024 election cycle. They stuck to their guns on a bunch of crazy policies and got hammered at the polls. That's what's going to happen here. Again, they're totally misreading this. And look, people like Nancy Pelosi, other members like that, it is time to retire. Please. You've done this longer than I have been alive.
Yeah.
Please retire, move on. You're totally disconnected from the American people, and you just made that very clear in that clip.
Well, they're not going to let go. That's why I think term limits are the answer that we need here. Congressman Riley Moore, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.